Peace. What's the word, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tap in with the kid before we start building on the subject matter for the day. Hopefully, y'all having a powerful Monday, starting off the month of August on a very healthy, positive, efficient note. Hopefully, y'all got about 45 minutes or so to chop it up with the kid, man. We're going to build on something that's very important. Basically, finding yourself and establishing yourself before you go out here seeking relationships and things along those lines, man. I'm talking to the youth. I'm talking to my young brothers. Hey, but if you're a little older, you can probably benefit from this as well. But I'm specifically targeting my younger brothers with this piece of information right here, man, because I see a lot of young brothers that's eager to jump into situations. Whole while they lack knowledge of themselves. They don't know who they are. They don't know what it is that they striving to do in life. They don't know what their purpose is. Things like that, man. Essential things that they have yet to figure out. Yet they trying to bring somebody else into the mix and look out for them and take care of them. Nah, that's a recipe for disaster, my brothers. Chris, peace. What's happening? What's the word? How we living and feeling though? How we living and feeling on this wonderful Monday, starting off the month of August, man? What's the word? How we living, man? Give everybody about a minute or two before we really start elaborating on the subject matter, man. But that's like a brief summary of what it is that I'm gonna be building on, man. These young brothers, y'all got to get y'all heads on straight, man. Don't let nobody pressure you into a situation before you ready. Things like that, man. Just be mindful. Be mindful of the decisions. Magic Peace, what's happening? JB, what's happening? My brother, what's the word? You say after coming into the knowledge, I want a family more and more, and I find myself wanting to speed the family process up so I can give my kids something I never had. Hey, JB, that's right and exact. But again, we never want to rush anything. When you look at when you do the knowledge to history, when you do the knowledge to life, like the greatest empires, like none of this stuff, all the greatest things that were built, none of those things were like the process was never that fast. Greatness takes time. Greatness takes time. So we never want to rush anything, especially greatness. That leads to bad decisions. That leads to disasters, catastrophes, whatever we want to call it. So take your time with the process. What they say, embrace the process, man. Trying to rush things, that leads to bad decisions. And once you make that bad decision, it's hard to come back from it, especially when you're talking about bringing another person into the mix. You make a bad decision in regards to getting into the relationship with the wrong person, and now you have a child, and now we have a problem. We have a problem that you're gonna be connected to this person for the rest of your life. So don't try to rush. Don't rush that. It's good to know and understand that that's what you want. But hey, don't rush the process though. Don't rush it. Don't rush it at all. Take your time with that decision making process. Take your time with it. Like, yes, that's what I want. I know and I understand that that's what I want, but then I know and understand too that it's gonna take time for me to get that. Javon, peace. What's happening? What you say? I feel like I needed this message. I'm 19, turning 20 on November 15th. Shout out, Javon. Hey, my B-day on November 13th. So you right, hey, you right after me. Right on. But on November 15th, I'm trying to get my body and mind right first. I started working out, drinking my smoothie today. Peace, bro. Hey, for sure. There you go. That's what you do. You got to get yourself right. You know what I'm saying? Before you try to bring somebody else into the mix, man. I mean, you got to learn how to take care of yourself, man. You got to learn who you are as a person, as a man. See, once you start to learn these things, then and understand not only what you want and need out of life, but what you want and need out of another person that you're going to bring into the mix, So that's important. The more you know about yourself, the more you uncover and discover about yourself, like the more you're going to learn about what you need and request from other people. So that's going to make the relationship process a lot smoother, man. Once you start to master yourself, you know exactly what to tell this woman, what you require. You know exactly what to tell her. Like, all right, this is what it is. This is what you're getting. When I come into your life, this is what you're getting. So this is what I need from you, to help this process run smoothly. These things when you focus on mastering yourself, when you focus on self-mastery. But a lot of brothers don't even get to that point because they rushing into a situation, rushing into situation after situation after situation, and you have never discovered yourself. Therefore, you have never mastered yourself. So now you at the mercy of everybody else. That's not a good place to be in as a man, man. You got to figure yourself out as a man. You got to master yourself, discover yourself as a man first, and then boom, it's like, all right, now I can take care of the family. Like that's how that's supposed to go. Hey, Chris, there you go. We always working. The real peace, what's happening? Mastermind, peace. Throw it off introvert, peace, what's happening? Or should I say throw it off introvert? What's happening? Hey, Doreen, for sure. Send it to him. You already know it. Ray Shine, peace, what's happening? Hey, Chris, there we go. November in the house. November in the house for sure. You know, but brothers, we gotta, we gotta get ourselves figured out, man. I see it too many times, man. Young brothers, and again, it's specifically to the young brothers. CC, peace, what's happening? The young sisters are doing the same exact thing, but I ain't talking to them. Because I was once a young brother, man. I mean, I'm still pretty much young, but I'm talking 19, 20, 18, things like that, man. I didn't seen this unfold. I didn't seen this unfold too many times, man, and it's a big mistake when you go into a situation as a man and you don't have yourself established and solidified in some way, shape, or form. That's dangerous. My Parker, peace, what's happening? That's dangerous, man. That's dangerous to not know yourself. It's dangerous to not have yourself mastered, man. It's dangerous, man. It's dangerous to not have a thorough understanding of self and then walk into a relationship and things like that, trying to figure all of that out. Man, that's a dangerous spot to be in, man. Especially as a man, it's just dangerous, man. You gotta have yourself established in some way, shape, or form, man. What is it? At least know what it is that you want to do with your life. You may not be doing it, but at least know what you want to do, so you could at least be so you can at least start the process. A lot of brothers don't even be knowing. A lot of brothers don't even be knowing what it is that they want to do with their lives, man. And they trying to figure this out. Man, y'all don't understand the responsibility that comes with being in a relationship, man. The responsibility, the sacrifices that must be made. You are bringing another person into your environment. You are bringing another person into your cipher. When you bring another person into your cipher, man, time is needed in order for you to get to know them, understand them, and spend time with them, things like that. So all of that time that you got to spend dedicated to them, that's less time you able to spend dedicated to yourself and getting yourself figured out. So it's people they sleep on that responsibility that comes with being in a relationship. So again, if you're not dedicating this time right now to get yourself figured out, man, when you get into a situation, man, it's going to be that much harder for you to do it because you're going to have to dedicate that time to somebody else. And then don't let you start having kids, then that's more time. That's more time that you're going to have to give up and less time you're going to have for yourself. So we sleeping on that, man. It takes time for you to get yourself figured out, man. You're not just going to wake up tomorrow and have yourself figured out. You're not just going to wake up tomorrow and know your purpose. You're not just going to wake up tomorrow and know what steps to take to reach that goal. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen. This stuff takes time. And the moment you bring somebody else into the mix, that time, that time is cut in half. Then when you bring somebody else in the mix, that time is cut in half again. So it takes time, man. You got to give yourself time, man, to figure some things out, man. You got to do that, man. You got to figure some things out as a man. I'm trying to tell you, man, when you get in that situation, you're not going to have that time, man. You're not going to have as much time as you think. Boom, crypto, peace, what's happening? My Parker, there we go. You say I dated a guy like this and he was literally conforming to my ways because he didn't have his own purpose. It was such a turnoff and it was hard for me to connect with him and respect him. 100% right and exact. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I mean by being at the mercy of somebody else when you don't have yourself figured out. Now you are at the mercy of somebody. You going with the so-called flow. And that flow is whoever the person you're in a relationship with, they are the ones dictating that flow. And that person that lacks the purpose, they just going with that flow. Whatever it is that you want to do, they doing it. Your purpose then became their purpose. Like, nah, that ain't how that's supposed to be working, fam. It's not, And I would hope that a lot of other women would see that as a turnoff. Unfortunately, you have some women that they turn on by that because they're able to control the brother. But for the most part, the women that I know, they don't like a dude like that don't have any type of direction and purpose in his life. Like, no, they don't like that. They not turned on by that. They not attracted to that. KH, peace, what's happening? Akuma, peace, what's the word? Oh, for sure. And Chris, what you say? Some Bitcoin. Hey, man, hey, hey, right on. There it is. I see the Bitcoin right on there, Chris. Right on, my brother. Hey, we'd take any ounce of Bitcoin around here, man. Boom, peace. What's happening? Yeah, Kuma, and then even on that end, because that can get tricky too. As far as for some people that work, some people that don't work. In regards to being business partners with your partner, that could get risky. But again, knowledge itself smoothens that out. Knowledge itself, man. Knowledge itself, knowing who you are. When you know who you are, you know what type of person you need as a business partner. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have yourself figured out, then you don't even know. So then you just gonna get in, you gonna go run a business with this woman and you have no idea what you need from her or out of her as a partner. Mistake. Adrian, peace. What you say? What's your views on divorce? Until recently, I can inform, and I'll be getting all type of comments at the same time. Shoot me off. All right, hold on. What's your views on divorce? Until recently, I conformed and compromised, but it doesn't seem to be enough. So I'm focused on self-improvement. It's causing conflict. Oh, Adrian, my views on divorce. Hey, man, hey, a divorce. Listen, if two people get in a situation and they didn't try everything in their power to make it work, and it's just not work, it's not working, they not compatible, then hey, by all means, get that divorce. See, I don't like people that try to force something to work that it's just not meant for it to work. Only thing that gets met with force is resistance, man. If you are in a situation and y'all done been in that situation for years and y'all done tried everything, y'all done did the therapy, y'all done did X, Y, and Z, and it's just not working, get the divorce. Stop wasting each other's time, man. Look, you can't get that time back. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop doing that. See, a lot of times we be in situations and deep down, that's that gut that I'm talking about, that second brain. We be knowing something is not meant to be. We just know something is not working, but we're going to try to force it to work anyway. And this force process is taking 5, 6, 7 years. And then at the end of that, we like, all right, we just going to have to go ahead and get a divorce. Like, man, we could have saved that 5 or 6 years and we could have just moved on then. But we trying to force something to work. We trying to force, like, nah. So we got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing it, man. If something is not working, man, if you just not in it, man, it's time to get that divorce, man. It's time to get that divorce, man. If you with a person and y'all going separate ways, you striving to grow in this direction and she's striving to grow in that direction, man, that's not going to work, man. I don't care how hard y'all try to force it to work, it's not going to work. And at the end of the day, especially if y'all got kids in the mix, it's just really going to end up harming the kids, man. More than anything. People think, staying together for the sake of the kids is healthy for the kids. No, it's not. They not dumb, man. They can sense when things are off. So it's better for y'all to just separate and focus on y'allselves and become the best version of y'allselves while y'all are separated, opposed to trying to stay together and y'all just hating each other and hating y'allselves in the process. Just for the sake of some kids. Like, nope, don't do that. Don't do that. At the end of the day, man, the only way that something can work out is when you do what's best for yourself. When you look out for your health, when you look out for yourself. If you don't do that, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out the way you are envisioning it. You got to take care of yourself and you got to prioritize your health mentally and physically. So if that means separating from somebody, then that's just what you have to do. If that means getting a divorce from somebody, then that's just what you have to do. If getting that divorce, if separating from this person is going to elevate your health mentally and physically, then you must do what needs to be done. Do not procrastinate on that. Do not procrastinate. If you know that that's the answer, and you gonna know that you know, because again, you gonna feel it deep down in that gut. See, that's the problem. We always go against that initial feeling, that initial gut feeling. We go against it for the most part. We second guess ourselves, but you gonna know deep down, yeah, this not gonna work. Listen to that initial gut feeling. Don't try to force it. Don't let the person guilt trip you into trying to make it work neither. When you know that it's not working, that's enough. Because your heart never gonna be in it, man. When you done already made the knowledge born that this is not gonna work, and deep down that's how you feel, it's never gonna work, no matter how the other person feels. Deep down, your heart will never be in it. It will never be in it because that's how you feel deep down. So I don't care how hard you try to make that work. When deep down you know that this ain't it and I'm not in it, it's time to go ahead and make that move. Don't waste nobody's time. Seriously. Let that person go be happy with somebody else. Let that person find happiness with somebody else, and then you do the same. You find that happiness within yourself, and then boom, what you need will come to you. Y'all tried it out, didn't work. Boom. Miami, peace, what's happening? Chris, for sure. You know, and that's the true colors, man. That's why you gotta be upfront and let some sisters know exactly what it is right when you get with them. Like, man, listen, I'm on my purpose. This is what it is. Hey, it's a struggle right now, but this is the end goal. This is my day-to-day process. These are things that I must do. You gotta lay the law down instantly, so it won't be no confusion. Like, I'm not gonna be able to spend as much time as you probably would like in the beginning of this because this is what I'm on. This is what I'm building. So you could either get with it or you could keep it moving. But when you don't have no purpose, man, you got all the time in the world to sit around spending with somebody, man, because you don't have no purpose. And then once she gets used to that, it's like, come on. Complex design, peace, what's happening? Adrian, for sure. And Chris, yeah, they come back. It's like the family member that didn't believe in the vision when you first sold it to them. And then when you make it, they say, I always believed in you. That's what they be on with that. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Goddess Isis, peace, what's happening? And Akuma, that's the best way to do it. Now, with me talking to like the younger brothers, you know, the young bulls, that can get complicated. Like when you 18, 19, 20, like 18, 19, 20, 21, man, it's hard to find some of that discipline and that focus, you know, because half the time you not in that space at 18, 19, 20, you know. So that's why I say, man, you got to get your discipline up, get your focus up first when you that young. When you that young, man, when you that young, you got to focus on getting your discipline together, getting your focus, concentration, and all of that, making sure you getting that together. And again, once you do that, man, like I said, man, everything that you need will come to you. You will attract it. When you focus on yourself, when you get yourself together, that will happen naturally, man. That is how the process goes. You know, it's a broken record. I got to keep telling folks that, but a lot of folks don't seem to believe that. Like, trust me, you know what I'm saying? When you taking care of yourself as a man, there are women out here, they bearing witness to that. They watch, you don't know who's watching. You know, we all on social media, you don't know who's watching. You know, keep living long enough. Trust me, that sister that you need, she been watching you this whole time. She been eyeing you this whole time. She been eyeing your journey this whole time. And when the time is right, she gonna come out what appears nowhere. She gonna come out of what appears nowhere, and boom, there you have it. That's how that works. That's how it works. But man, when you 18, 19, 20, man, slow your roll. Slow your roll. I would tell sisters that too. Slow y'all roll. You know what I'm saying? Y'all good, man. 18, 19, 20, man. Y'all do not need to be rushing into a situation, man. Slow the roll, slow down. Slow down. Get yourselves together, man. Get yourselves together straight up. This is, and the reason why I'm so adamant about that, because I feel like that's one of the biggest problems with our people. We don't have ourselves together. We don't have ourselves figured out. We don't have ourselves figured out, man. We don't know who we are as a people, man. And we keep rushing into situations, man, with other folks that don't know who they are. And the cycle continues. So to break the cycle, we got to stop rushing into situations until we get ourselves figured out on both ends. Somebody has got to figure themselves out. And then, okay, cool. You came to me. So let me help you figure yourself out. I can't make you figure yourself out, but I went through a process of self-discovery, of self-mastery. So therefore, I can kind of help you. I can assist you. But if we both are lacking this knowledge of self and we are ignorant to the process, then we just finna lose. I'll take a big L. It's about to be an ignorant, toxic relationship. Andrew Sharif and Peace, what's happening? Lindell, what's happening? Devin, what you say? Just got my lower body workout done and finally got a notification. There we go. Let's get it. You know, I did my workout early, for sure. Complex design, what you say? Every brother starting at age 18 needs to be apprenticed or initiated into a craft, trade, skill, or profession. 100%. And that's how I used to be. You know, I talked about some African cultures where when the young boy reached a certain age, he was sent off to live with a village of men. So he was taught how to be a man by a village of men. He was separated from the young girls. He was separated from the women. He was sent off to a village of men, and they taught him everything that needed to be taught and learned to be a man. And then he was sent back off to society to go find his woman. That is what you need to do. When you 18, 19, it's like now you got to learn how to be a man. You got to learn how to be a man. And I feel like you got to learn how to be a man from other men. You know, I feel like that's important from other men. Y'all learn how to be a man from other men. And then when you get all the tools that's required, when you learn that trade, you know what I'm saying? When you learn that skill, that craft, whatever the case may be, then it's like, all right, boom, let me get my feet wet. And now, all right, I'm handling business. I'm learning how to operate and function as a man. Now I might be ready to entertain situations. Trust me, if you communicate that properly to the right woman, she will understand that. She will understand that and she will be there for you. Communication in that realm is definitely key though. But I definitely agree with that complex design, man, for sure. 100%. Kuma for sure. You know, and that what's crazy is, you know, they like to associate higher body counts with brothers, man. You know, that's the stigma that's attached to us, man, that we out here with just large body counts sleeping with any and everything. I'm one of the ones that can say, nah, I don't have no large body count, contrary to what people may believe when they see me. Like, nah, I wasn't out here. Listen, when I read something that said the body is a temple, like I honored that. You know, I wasn't out here just dealing with any and everybody as far as that situation goes, sleeping with folks. Like, nah, that's risky business. But you know, brother, that's the stigma that's attached with especially black men. We sleep, y'all sleep with any and everything. Nah, it's some of us that didn't do that. It's some of us that didn't do that yet. We had the opportunity to if we wanted to, but we didn't. So hey, some of you sisters need to put some respect on the names of the brothers that was not out here abusing how easy some of y'all were. Let's be honest. You know, some of these sisters was out here so thirsty for sex at a young age. Some of us brothers could have taken advantage of that and we didn't. Some of us brothers that could have taken advantage of that needs a little bit more credit. You know, y'all was getting set out here by all of these dudes with bad intentions, and now y'all harboring all this hate toward these dudes because y'all was so thirsty, couldn't control these hormones and whatnot. So you allowed yourself to get set out by these no good dudes, and now that didn't distorted your whole perception towards dudes. Whole while y'all was overlooking the brother that was like, nah, I ain't trying to do that with you. You ain't want to entertain that brother. Let's talk about that. You ain't want to entertain that brother. You wanted to entertain the brother that was on the same sex vibe as you. The brother that wasn't on it, you was like, nah, man, this ain't no fun. And then you end up getting set out. Whole football team and ran through you, and now you talking bad about dudes. Whole while you didn't want to entertain a young brother that was like, nah, I ain't trying to do that, or was shy. He's shy, he's scary. Maybe he just don't want to disrespect you or hurt you, man. Come on now. Chris, my brother, appreciate the donation. You say we also don't listen to the elders until it's too late. The elders have knowledge of experience. 100%. Hey, my grandfather, shout out to my grandfather, man. Dude just turned 91. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my grandfather, man. Pop Ville's what they call him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to dude. He just turned 91. Today is his born day. But any chance I get to listen to that man chop it up, I listen. I don't say nothing. I don't even care if he's saying something that's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even a fact. I'm listening. When he talk, I listen. And I'm one of the few. That dude love it when I come to Mississippi, man, because he know he finna talk to me and I'm finna listen. I'm listening to everything he got to say. Man, you better cherish that, man. You better not have no grandparent that's in the 80s, the late 80s and the 90s, and you not listening to what it is that they got to say. Better you ought to be ashamed of yourself if you're not listening to them. You ought to be ashamed of yourself if you making fun of them. Come on now. You ought to be ashamed of yourself if your grandparents still alive and you not listening to them when they talk. Like, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Stop playing. Listen to their elder, man. Listen to that. They didn't experience a lot. Listen to them. You can pick up on a lot of game. You can learn what not to do and what to do by listening to that elder. Come on now. Rael, 100% at all. And that's just what it is. That's why that's why the younger generation of men or brothers, these young brothers, that's why some of them are the way that they are. They've been raised by women. And once again, everybody gets offended when you say something like that. That's just what it is, man. Like, that's just what it is, man. You cannot have, listen, you can't have a whole young generation of boys get raised by women and they turn out to be strong men as a whole, as a collective. It's not going to work like that. I'm not saying they can't turn out to be decent brothers. No, that's not what I'm saying. But man, it's just certain things that a woman cannot teach a young boy because she is not a man and she will never be a man. So it's just certain things that young boy needs that man for in regards to guidance and just teaching them. And that's just a fact. Just like I can't teach a young girl everything because I'm never going to be a woman. I can't listen. I can read about things on, well, your period is approaching, man, but I ain't never experienced that, never will. So I can't act like I know that. I can't act like I know how to handle that situation. Man, I'm gonna leave that up to a sister. I'm gonna leave that up to another woman, not me. You know what I'm saying? I've never experienced that and never will. I don't know what that's like. You know, so hey man, we gotta stop front acting like all women can just raise these young boys to be men and we can just have a powerful nation of men that's just raised by women. No other society is thinking like that. No other group of people will ever think like that. That's just like we saying as men we can raise a gang of feminine women. No, we cannot. A lot of them women gonna turn out to be tomboys. You got plenty of that in your family right now. You all got sisters and whatnot. They grew up around all their brothers, about 7 to 8 brothers, and they done turned out to be a little rough around the edges. That's just how it's gonna happen. Same for that young boy. When if he raised by women, if he's surrounded women, man, some of them gonna turn out to be a little feminine. That's just you gonna be a product of your environment. So look, the young boy, he needs a man in his life to counter that, to neutralize that. This is what he needs. Just like that young girl, she needs that feminine energy. She needs it. Stop getting offended by the truth. I mean, I really don't care if you get offended by the truth. The truth still stands. Doreen, what you say? He 34 battling manhood versus street dude, his ego. When he was younger, he was better off. Older he gets, more he losing himself. We not together, but love him like family. Lost his father to overdose last year. Oh, you say he battling that manhood versus street dude ego. And I got plenty of partners like that that's battling that. Plenty of them. Plenty of them. And you know how the media, look, they glorify that street mentality. And we know why they glorify that for the young black brothers, because they know where we gonna end up if we embark on that journey. You know, they know where we gonna end up. That's why they glorify. That's why they keep pushing that type of lifestyle on us. You know, so it's hard when that's the battle, when they battling between the manhood and the street dude, because that street dude, in regards to like the media, is gonna overpower that. They not seeing enough positive examples of real masculinity, of real manhood. They not seeing that because the media not gonna show them that. And we got to be real, man. The media is influencing a lot of our ways and actions in this day and age. So that's why we got to do a better job of pushing and promoting the positivity, the positive male role models. Doreen, man, and the sad reality about that is it's gonna take the right person to get through to him. You know, it's gonna take a certain caliber of person to get through to him, unfortunately. It's either that, it's gonna take the right person to get through to him, or it's gonna take the wrong situation to happen for him to finally wake up. That's how that works. It's gonna be somebody that connects with him, and then he's gonna be like, all right, cool, I'm ready to make this change. I'm ready to make this transition. Or the wrong thing in his life is gonna happen. Something tragic is gonna happen, and that's gonna be the wake-up call. Or it may take several tragic incidents to happen for him to wake up. That's how that tends to work, unfortunately. But it's definitely going to take another brother or another man to get through to him in that regard. Crypto brings peace. What's happening? James, I'm trying to tell you, this is actually more common than most people know, man. It's actually more common for a lot of brothers out here to not be having a high body count, man. It's actually pretty normal out here. People be sleeping on that. Sharif, and exactly, people be sleeping on it, man. Some of us brothers, we know our worth as well, and we not out here just striving to be doing it to any and everybody, man. All complex design, and I didn't talked about that. That's our rites of passage, man. The bragging rights, like how many women did you sleep with? You know, how many women are you juggling at this one time? That's it for real. It's bagging chicks, and it's just doing dumb stuff, man, like shooting and killing each other. Like that's it. That's all rites of passage. That's all rites of it. Just sheer ignorance. How ignorant can you be at 13? Like that's your rites of passage. Oh, you get bragging rights. Oh, you shot old boy? Cool. Come on in. Oh, you done slept with 4 or 5 women? Come on in. Like that's it. And it's sad. Terenzo, peace, what's happening? God's life. Man, Tupac is a great example. Great example. And Tupac is my favorite rapper of all time. He the GOAT to me. And that's a great example. I will not argue with that at all. Great example. Anybody that's a Tupac fan knows that that's right and exact. Rael, exactly. With the street culture for sure. But unfortunately, and I keep talking about this. The unfortunate thing, because I witnessed this. Matter of fact, I was a part of it. The only thing was I was made a little differently. You know what I'm saying? This the problem. This is the big problem. The disconnect between the elders and the young bulls. Because I experienced it. We as elders, like the elders tend to think that things are the same way that they were when they were young. And they try to force some of these ways and actions on the youth. And then that is when it becomes a problem. When they're not trying to speak the language of the youth and they trying to force the youth to accept something that's outdated. That's not like that's never the move. You know, I had a lot of clashes with elder black men back in my day, back in my like when I'm 18, 19, because they was giving me advice that was like it was like Sambo-ish. And they turning their noses up at certain brothers. I want to walk around with my locks, and they turning their nose up at me because they walking around with a clean cut. So they already judging me based off of the strength of that, and they already telling me if I want to rock with them or if I want to get this type of position, then I got to cut my hair, like stuff like that. It's like, dude, don't do that. Don't turn your nose up at the youth, because when you do that, they gonna walk in that direction of the streets. So I done watched a lot of brothers that are in decent positions that will be of great benefit to some of these brothers turn their noses up at the young bulls. Don't do that. Don't do that. Come on, man. We was young before. You know, when you look at the young bull and be like, man, pull your pen, man, we was young. We didn't sag before. We didn't did all of these things. Man, I didn't did these things. You gotta know how to speak their language. Listen, the first thing come out your mouth is criticism. You lost them already. You done lost them already. When you come across a young bull, a young brother, and the first First few things out your mouth, all criticism, you finna lose him. He don't want to hear that. He don't want to hear you tell him what he need to be doing. That ain't gonna work. And I didn't watch that instantly, man. We do not know, like the older generation. I feel like where the failure happens, where the disconnect happens, they don't know how to communicate with the youth. And that's where that disconnect is at, man, because I was getting that hard back in the day. I was constantly telling my elders, that's when y'all were young. That was 20, 30 years ago. That was 1980, 1970. I'm like that. We in 2006, 2005. Man, that was 30 years ago. That's not how the world is now. And so a lot of them couldn't understand that. So I'm like, man, you got to look at the world for what it is now, not what it was 30 years ago when you were 15. And a lot of elders failed to do that, at least in my experience. And that's where I had a disconnect with the elders. Man, that was getting on my nerves. I kept having to tell them that. I'm like, man, we live in a different era, and we got to understand that. You got to be able to adapt and adjust. A lot of elders weren't able to do that. The youth, they gonna connect. They gonna connect to the elder that speaks their language. That's who they gonna connect to. That's who they gonna connect with. All disciples of Christ. You at no point in time should you ever be chasing anybody. You know, never. Like, I don't condone chasing at all, ever. Like, you should never chase a woman. I don't even care if you are established. Never chase a woman. Again, all that stuff gonna come to you. You don't need to chase anything. The moment that you start chasing something, like, you already failing. You already behind. No pun intended. The moment you chasing something, you already behind. You know? So nah, we don't chase anything. Like, straight up. Terenzo at all. At all. God's life path, man. I'm trying to tell you. And that's the big disconnect, man. Just not embracing the youth, man. The youth, I'm trying to tell you, the voice of the voiceless, man. They be feeling misunderstood. And it's the same old song and dance each generation. They feel misunderstood by the older generation. They feel like the older generation is not listening. And that's the problem. That's one of the problems that I had with my elders growing up. You got elders that feel like, since they didn't experience all of this type of stuff, that they can tell you whatever they want to tell you, and you supposed to just shut up and take it and not ask no questions. Now, I don't like an elder like that at all. No, emphatically no. You're going to get resistance each time by me. Just because you didn't live some things don't necessarily mean what you finna tell me. I'm finna just eat it and accept it. That ain't how that's supposed to go. You know, and you got a lot of elders like that. They not trying to listen to what it is that you have to say, because they feel like you ain't lived long enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot just instantly write off somebody due to how old they are. You know what I'm saying? And that happened to me a lot. Like, dude, you not even striving to listen to what I have to say simply because I'm 18. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna fly with anybody. That's not gonna fly with anybody. And I saw that happen too many times. And like I said, that happened to me too many times. So when you get that, like, I'm finna stop talking. I'm finna stop communicating. Because, dude, why every time I try to talk to you, not listening to me? You want me to listen to you rant and talk for an hour, but then I can't get 1 minute. Like, I'm not finna. If that happened to me too many times, I'm not gonna keep putting myself in that type of position. It's not gonna talk. Lindell, for sure. You know, demanding a lot from brothers early in the game. Now, again, I don't have a problem with you having a certain set of standards. I don't have a problem with that. You supposed to value yourself, my sister, but you also got to understand the reality too when dealing with brothers. Some of these brothers, you know, you got to understand the reality. Yes, you should have a high set of standards. You shouldn't settle for any and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that you should stand for. Stand on your square, you know, and never let somebody cause you to deviate from it. But you also got to understand that we in the wilderness of North America, so it's going to take time for some of us brothers to build things righteously. You know, so again, Embrace that process with the young brother. Embrace that process with him. As long as you see him putting in the work, putting forth the effort, everything gonna be all right. Now, if he's not putting forth the effort and putting in the work, then you might want to like, hey, nah, I ain't gonna tolerate that. But if you with somebody, y'all might not be where y'all want to be right now, but you see he putting in this work, he kind of focused, his concentration is there, the work ethic is there, man, y'all gonna be all right. Y'all gonna be all right. Y'all gonna be all right, man. Just analyze the work ethic, man. See where the focus is at, see where his mind is at. If he putting in that work, y'all gonna be all right. Devin, 100%. You know, that's why you got to find the right elder. You know, that's why you got to find the right elder, man. You got to find the right elder. The right elder is a good listener, you know. That's how you able to determine a great listener. When they listening more than they out here trying to tell you what you need to be doing, that's the one. That's the one. Because in order for you to be able to properly give somebody guidance, you got to understand them. How you gonna give somebody guidance yet you don't understand what they going through? You don't understand who they are. So the only way for me to properly give you any type of suggestion or recommendation, I gotta understand you. In order for me to understand you, I gotta listen to you. So man, when the young boys talk to me, I'm listening. Oh, y'all like this type of music? You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. When I was y'all age, I was like some crazy type of music. I still listen to it. So man, let me not criticize y'all music like that. I might not fool with it that much now, but back then when I was 17, 16, yeah, I was listening to the worst of the worst. So I get it. This is just y'all version of that. Rael, yeah. And man, listen. Listen, I could talk for 5 hours, 5 days straight about my experiences with that. You know, JB, man, I'm trying to tell you. And like I said, like when I try to break down the differences and they not listening, it's like, all right, I'm good. I don't want to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to have that conversation when we try to break down the differences. Like that was 1970. Things are severely different. Like they are drastically different. Disciples of Christ, what you say? I stay to myself because I lose brain cells when I talk to certain people. They always want me to stoop down to yeah, for sure. You know, when we talk about ODing on, the alcohol killing the brain cells and things like that, drugs killing the brain cells, man, definitely interacting with the wrong type of people can have the same effect. Definitely. Like interacting with the wrong type of people could definitely cause you to lose brain cells. It's called dumbing yourself down. And I don't like to do that for anybody. So when I'm in the situation and I feel like I'm having to dumb myself down to remain in this situation, I'm going to politely exit. Rael, yeah, definitely doesn't happen overnight. Definitely. What they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, forget Rome, but y'all know the quote though. Rome wasn't built in a day. So it takes time. The Black Brain Trust. Peace, peace. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Oh, Devin, for sure. I feel like that's common. No matter, I feel like anytime a person is older, for the most, like 80, 90% of the time, they gonna have that type of approach. I mean, I'm about to just be 32, and sometimes when I'm talking to the young bulls, I be having to catch myself. I'm talking to somebody that's like 20, and I'm like, "Dad, hold on, I'm tripping." Like, man, this ain't, I'm talking like this was back in my day when I was 20, when I was 19. Like, I be doing it. So I be having to catch myself when I'm 31, 32, talking to the 19, 20-year-olds, and I'm like, hold on, I'm doing the same thing that I accuse the elders of doing to me. So let me catch myself. Little piece, what's happening? So it's like, man, I be letting them rock now. So, but for the most part, I'm good at listening. So when I'm talking to a lot of the youth, or not even talking, I'm just listening to them talk. I'm doing the knowledge to what it is they interested in, you know, doing the knowledge to what they gravitating towards. And for the most part, I'm not gonna really throw things out there unless somebody asks me a question. That's how I've always been. Even with the youth, for the most part, I'm gonna just listen until they ask me a question. It's like, okay, now you really want to know because you have asked me the question. So then I'm gonna give you advice based off of the data that I have gathered from listening to you and from observing you. You know, so that's how I tend to function when I'm talking to just people in general. Like, let me listen to them, let me observe them. And then when they want to know something, or if they want to know something, if they feel like I'm qualified, they gonna ask me. So I try not to just get in folk business unless they ask me. You know, that's how I tend to operate. That's how I tend to function. Like that's, and I feel like that's a smooth way to function, and it hasn't messed me up yet. All right, yeah. If that's your only line of reasoning is that I'm older than you, like that's trash. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what you finna roll with, yeah, that's trash. Like I'm older than you, so therefore you should just listen to me off the strength of that. Like, nah, nope. Next, like if that's your reason why I should listen, cancel Christmas on that. Cancel Christmas. I should listen to you simply because you older than me. Like you older than me, so therefore, all right, I must listen. Like, nah, incorrect. Incorrect. And I didn't been there, done that. Like literally. I didn't been in situations when because I used to be feisty. I used to come with I'm a real like rational and logical person. What they say, left brain. I'm real logical. You know, like I'm gonna ask some questions. Like I'm gonna break this down. If you tell me something, I'm gonna break it down by asking a lot of logical questions to try to gain my understanding. So I used to do that, man. So when the elders would tell me something and it didn't quite make sense to me, I'm gonna ask them question after question. And a lot of times that ended in, look, I'm older than you. I didn't experience more than you. So therefore, you need to just listen to what I'm telling you just because of that. It's like, but you should see that it's not making sense to me. So I'm just asking questions. If you don't have an answer, then just say that. But don't just be like, stop asking me these questions and try to condemn me for asking questions and say, just listen because I'm older than you. Like, nah, man, I'm asking you legitimate questions and you getting mad because you don't have some of the answers. Don't get mad at me. Just try to figure out the answer or tell me you don't know. But that's how I used to break things down, man. I wasn't, when some adults told me something, it was like, cool, I hear you. But if it didn't make sense, like if it did not resonate with me and it didn't make sense to me, I got questions. As I feel like the normal average person should. If something doesn't make sense to you, you ask questions. That is what we were taught. So I thought. So that's what I did. So it's like, all right, you told me this, but I need to understand like why you said this, like why is this true? Why should I do this instead of that? Because it would seem like it would make more sense for me to move this way, but you saying go that way. Could you please elaborate? It's like when you do that enough times, man, folks start getting mad. And they accuse you of all type of stuff that ain't necessarily true. Disobedient. Things like, man, this is like the stuff hard-headed. Like this is stuff that I got called because I would ask questions or I would question authority. And I'm coming from a sincere, genuine place. Like I sincerely want to gain an understanding, so I'm going to ask questions. So now you get called hard-headed, disobedient, stuff like that. Like that's unnecessary, man. Don't place that label on a child because they asking questions, man. And that happened a lot. So it's like when that happens enough times to you, once again, you start to shut off. You start to shut off. Like you stop asking questions, you stop wanting to interact with people, and then the same elders that was telling you that, they see you years later and be like, well, why don't you say nothing when I come around? You never talk. You never speak. It's because every time I try to speak, man, y'all condemning me for asking questions. And asking questions is a part of my character. That's a part of who I am. When y'all say something that don't make sense, I ask questions. So now y'all condemning me for doing that. So now when y'all come around, I'm not gonna talk. Because every time I talk, it ends up with you getting mad because I'm asking questions. Or it ends in an argument, whatever the case may be. So I've been there, done that. So it's like I don't really have time for that. You know? Montel, what's happening? JB, you say, do you believe Willie Lynch has officially switched the gender roles in today's time, especially in the marriage sense? Man, Willie Lynch, that letter, you know, and just the system that they have set up for us, like all of that has factored into the gender roles switching, being reversed, because that was the objective. And I feel like we are like fulfilling that prophecy. We like 90% of the way there. See, people be getting like, we be getting blinded sometimes by some of the stuff that we see on social media. See, on social media, some of the, it may look like that number, that percentage would be lower. But again, believe none of what you hear half of what you see. Some of the stuff that you even see on social media, like some of the people give off this appearance that they are one way, but they not though. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we still got a long way to go, contrary to what you may be seeing on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. A lot of that stuff is a lie. A lot of that stuff is false. And that's just an actual fact. A lot of that stuff is fabricated BS and nonsense. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see, straight up. We got a long way to go in that department. That role reversal, that gender switch, that gender reversal, it is happening. It is happening. And all you got to do to bear witness to that is, again, analyze a lot of the youth. See, I ain't talking about the older folk. We might be out here, man, but look at the youth, man. Man, look at these young brothers. Look how these young brothers be moving emotionally. That is what I'm talking about. That's why I say we got a long way to go. Yes, we still got young brothers that got their heads on straight, man. But look, I talk to a lot. I train young brothers. I train young sisters. It's rough out here. It's rough out here. That whole think like a man mentality, it is embedded in them younger women or the young girls. It is embedded in them because we didn't have a whole culture of women like teach that mentality, and now they didn't pass it down. And now them young girls and got a little older now. So now we seeing the fruits of that labor. That is real in the field. And these young girls out here, they smoke just as much as the dudes. They tote guns just as much as do, rightfully so. But man, they walk around just like dudes used to walk around. They walk around just like dudes walking around. Straight up. It's weird. You know what I'm saying? They listening to the same exact music. Like it's weird, man. It is like it's weird, man. It's weird. And I'm not saying this just started, because it's been happening like this. But man, like seriously, when you look at the youth, like it's real in the field. My brother Terenzo, appreciate the donation. You said I was young, thought to be an elder. Now I'm an elder. Yeah, folks think I'm young. Hey, same here. Yes, say what's being a vet have to do with it? Experience, that's what, for sure. What they say, experience is the best teacher at times, you know, like I said, and it's a certain way that must be communicated, because like I said, people just think somebody gotta listen just because somebody older. Nope. But man, when you present that message right and exact, we good. Roman peace, what's happening? You say there's a select few who have the focus and discipline to prioritize establishing themselves first before concerning themselves with finding a partner. Hey, and that select few, that's gonna end up branching off to a larger select few. So we got to start with the select few first, and we gotta instill that message in them, and we got to push and promote them so that more young brothers can see that, you know, so that select few can grow. Like that's how that has to work. So just because it's a select few, don't mean that that can't grow and multiply. Big Smooth, what's happening? Walker Peace, what's the word? So yeah, man, we got a long way to go, man, as far as like the dynamics in the relationship between black men and black women, man. And there's a lot of things that's messing that whole process up. It's a lot of things that's messing that process up, man, for real. But when you look at these young bulls, man, when you look at some of them, it's like, man, what is happening? And it ain't even just looking at it from an outdated perspective. It's looking at it saying, man, I remember when this type of mentality began. And that, like, it began years ago. And now the children that were raised by the people that started that mentality are grown now. So now it's like, oh, now I finally see the product of being raised by that mentality. Think like a man. Now you able to see a grown product of that type of thinking, of that type of raising, of upbringing, or something like that. You able to see the product of that. You able to see the product. So we able to see the product now. We able to see the product. We able to see the product of young men being raised in a society that don't like for you to be a man. We starting to see the product of a society that's saying, hey, forget the gender role thing. We finna put homosexuality in everything. We starting to see that generation become adults, and it's all bad out here. Like y'all saw me post gay BCs. Like that's the type of stuff that's out here now. Like that's the type of stuff that we dealing with. We starting to see the product of that generation. We saw this stuff when it was just hitting the scene. We was like, that they put a lot of homosexuality and stuff. Now we years in the game, and now we starting to see that generation become adults and say, oh, that's what it's like to be raised in this type of society. Y'all got to understand, man, this technology and stuff that we dealing with, man, this stuff is not that old. It's not that old, man. So like these 20-year-old, like they the first generation that was kind of raised under this technology. My generation wasn't. We transitioned to it, but we was raised in the 90s, man, the early 2000s. We didn't have all of this type of stuff. So these 20-year-olds now, they were like the first generation that was raised solely by this technology, by these electronic devices. We can't say that for ourselves. We can't say that for ourselves. Like we transitioned to it, but we wasn't raised by it. These 20-year-olds, they was all they know is this technology. That's all they know. That's it. That's all they know. They have been raised by technology, by these electronic devices. They getting phones at 5 and 6 and 7. We wasn't getting that. We got phones. We was in high school, and those phones was garbage. You know, so we wasn't raised like that. So we finally seeing the product. We finally seeing the grown product of kids being raised by technology. When you look at a 20-year-old now, you looking at somebody that was raised solely by technology. Solely by technology. 100%. But when you 20 right now, you was born in 2002. You was raised by technology. You was raised by this current technology. So can't none of us relate to that because we were not raised by technology. I wasn't raised by this technology. So I gotta really try to gain an understanding where some of these kids coming from, because I wasn't raised by that technology. No, I wasn't. So it's hard for me to act like I understand what it's like to be raised by it. I transitioned to it, but I wasn't raised that way. Hey Roman, what you say? And there's those who have been told it's all about money, women, and status, and get money before the status and money. Oh yeah, for sure. Instead of being people of unwavering integrity, they let trends control them. 100%. The sheep. Dean Peace, what's happening? The black brain, you say, is algorithm driven. Comment, core based education teaches kids to think in terms of, oh yeah, 100% algorithm. Man, you know what I'm saying? We live in the age of, I'm trying to crack the algorithm. I'm trying to go viral, crack the algorithm. I want people to see me. Crack the algorithm. What can I post to crack the algorithm? That's all people are worried about these days. Crack the algorithm. That's the word. Like, that's the word. Man, 20 years ago, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't talking about algorithms. Man, we don't know what are you talking about? We weren't talking about no algorithms. Like, that's all they know now, algorithms. Viral. We wasn't talking about going viral back in the day. Like, we wasn't on that. Like, what is going viral 20 years ago? Like, come on now. You know, but y'all, with that being said, man, it's a good build, but I gotta make my way to this gym, man. I gotta hop in the shower, man, and get myself ready and head back to this gym, get on this road. So this was a peaceful build, man. But before I leave, let me give y'all the book for the day. This book is right up my alley. Y'all gonna like this one. Silence, the power of quiet in a world full of noise. Get this book, man. Book is real peaceful. For anybody that's seeking silence in their lives, how to quiet the mind, that's the book for you. Short read, you know. But man, I gotta tap out, man. I appreciate the donations, man. I appreciate all the comments, man. As always, love. Y'all take it easy, man. I'm gonna try to tap back in with y'all tomorrow for sure. If I don't tap in via live stream, I'm gonna definitely drop some short videos, some uploads. So be on the lookout tomorrow either way. I'm gonna drop something. You know, it's August, it's a new month, so we going hard. But y'all be easy, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Monday. I'm out. Peace.